The golden retriever had been waking their son up every morning for 2 weeks. They thought it was a habit problem. They were missing the only number that mattered. Beau had always been a morning dog. He moved through the house when the light changed, and he stood at bedroom doors and breathed audibly until someone acknowledged him. And the Walsh family had accepted this as the tax you paid for having a dog whose happiness made the whole house feel safer. But what Beau was doing in October was something different. It had a target. It had a method. And it had been there every morning for 14 days before anyone thought to look for a reason. Caleb was 6 years old. He had been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes 18 months ago, and the Walsh family had built their lives around the management of numbers, referred a continuous glucose monitor on his left arm, a receiver unit on the kitchen counter, a phone alert for Diane and for her husband Thomas whenever Caleb's glucose moved outside range. They had the system. They trusted the system. The system had never once in 18 months given them a reason not to. Beau's morning routine had changed on October 3rd. He no longer stood at the master bedroom door. He went directly to Caleb's room. He knows the door open. Caleb had stopped latching it months ago, after Beau had demonstrated that a lever-style handle was within his capabilities, and he went to the bed and put his nose at Caleb's face and exhaled on him until Caleb woke up. Caleb found this entertaining. He told his parents about it at breakfast. Beau woke me up again. He breathed on my face. His breath smells like his food, referred Diane. And Thomas found it less entertaining on day 4, when Caleb appeared at breakfast having been awake since 5:47 because Beau had gotten to him before the alarm. Thomas told Beau to stay out of Caleb's room at night. Beau sat and listened to this instruction with the expression of a dog who has heard many instructions and plans to evaluate them on their merits. By day 8, Diane had stopped blocking the door and started noting the time. 5:40 a.m., 5:38, 5:50, 1, 5:45. She mentioned it to their pediatric endocrinologist, Dr. Susanna Park, at Caleb's monthly appointment. Casually, something in Dr. Park's stillness when Diane mentioned it made her add more detail. Every morning, he goes to Caleb's face specifically. He won't leave until Caleb's awake. Dr. Park asked, "What time does Caleb's glucose typically run in the early morning?" Diane pulled up the CGM app on her phone. They looked together. 5:40 a.m., trending low. Most mornings. Not alarming low, not alert triggering low, but low. Trending. Every day, at the window before the system's alert threshold, in the silent hours when blood sugar moves without anyone watching. She put the phone down. She said, "I think your dog may be alerting. If you stay for stories about what animals sense, before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one." Dogs trained as diabetic alert animals learn to identify the volatile organic compounds produced during hypoglycemia, isoprene, ketones, specific acetone derivatives, at concentrations detectable in exhaled breath, up to 30 minutes before a glucose monitor registers the shift. Beau had never been trained. No one had taught him. Yi had lived beside Caleb for 3 years. He had been present for every low, every correction, every moment when Caleb's breath chemistry changed and the adults in the room moved quickly. He had filed those chemical signatures. He had kept them. And every morning when Caleb's glucose began its pre-dawn drift, Beau smelled it before the sensor registered it, before the alert fired, before anyone was awake to see the number moving. He went to the face, he exhaled, he woke the boy. Dr. Park reviewed 14 days of CGM data and cross-referenced it with the times Diane had noted. In 12 of the 14 mornings, Beau had reached Caleb within a 15-minute window before the glucose hit the system's soft alert threshold. In 2 of the mornings, Beau had arrived 22 and 27 minutes before any alarm would have sounded. She sat across from Diane and Thomas and chose her words with clinical precision. "What your dog is doing is consistent with pre-symptomatic hypoglycemia detection in untrained dogs with high bonding exposure to diabetic patients. I would not have believed it if I hadn't seen the data." She paused. "You have a very good system, and something that runs alongside it. Has your dog ever done something every day that you thought was a behavior problem until someone showed you the numbers? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard." They bought Beau a new bed and put it in Caleb's room. He accepted it without drama. He slept there every night, nose at the edge of the mattress, and most mornings he did nothing, because most mornings the numbers were fine. But on the mornings when the glucose began its drift, at the window before the system's threshold, in the blue dark hours before the alarm, Beau moved. He put his nose to Caleb's face. He breathed. He waited for the boy to wake up. Referred, every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. The next story is about a dog who changed his behavior on a Thursday morning. 9 days before a diagnosis, no one in the family had seen coming. Caleb sleeps with his glucose receiver on the nightstand and Beau on the bed beside him. And every morning when the light changes and the numbers are good, Beau does nothing because nothing needs to be done. He is simply there, in the dark, in the warm particular smell of a sleeping child's breath, reading what is in it, the way he has been reading it for 3 years, for the length of a child's whole short life, patient and present and permanent.